Hey, everybody. Welcome to our little show. Hey, Neuro, you're still muted. There we
Sorry.
go. Hey, and let's try,
How's it going?
welcome. Bienvenidos and welcome to I'm going to turn it over to you. This is your show, so I'm
No,
just a
it's our
squirrel.
show.
It's our show,
You're
but
not just a squirrel. So I can't see the chats very easily, just to let everybody know. Because I have to look on my phone. Huh. Did you know we're double streaming?
oh, okay.
That's interesting. All right. I'll try again later. Oh, what
Yeah,
happened?
no, it's a closed out
Oh,
sometime.
okay.
I'm
So,
just trying to get on
sorry
site.
about that.
Yeah,
Little
hi
technical
everybody.
issue. Welcome to the first episode of the Misfits Muse. Um, I'm Nero, and this is Jason Odell from the
cheers.
Photographer's Perspective. And our debut guest is Tessara Dudley, a friend of mine from college, a very talented writer and artisan, among other things. Um, I don't know what else I could say about Tessara that I have permission to.
Well, we'll let her handle that. Let's just introduce
Oh, I
ourselves
can't
again.
hear.
Um,
Oh, what happened?
I don't know. I'm speaking.
Uh, Crap.
Well, we're having a fun time learning StreamYard. I'm not sure what's happening.
Can
Are
you
you
hear
back?
me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Shoot. I hate this stupid headset.
Well, it could just be a speaker thing. You can
Can you
always
hear me
re.
now?
Yep, I can hear you. We're
Okay.
good. So as long as you can hear me and I can hear you, and you can hear Sarah when we bring her on, it'll be all good. But
Okay.
this is.
Hear anything I said?
Hmm?
I was introducing Tessara.
Oh, we heard you just fine.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was sounding like your speakers went out or something. All right. Technical issues. This is always what I like to call this is like live and without a net. But
Yeah, it is without a net, but also I need to get a better headset because it works just fine, except for when I'm on Substack for some reason.
hmm, really weird. Well,
A lot.
I've always found that having a real cord saves a is the key for anything that requires a good connection. But this was an idea that the idea for this space was to start off as sort of like an art creative space hangout, right? I mean, we
Yeah,
been bouncing this idea around for what, since the beginning of the year.
something like that.
There, shortly after the new year, somewhere around in there, we were talking about this. So we wanted to, because we're both creative, different in different ways, and there's a lot of creative people on Substack, and we want to have this show to spotlight people who inspire us creatively. Um, so what and I'm a photographer and you're a creative writer, or at least that's your background is in writing, and so there's a lot of different things that fall under the umbrella of art, right? So
A little bit of doodling, as you
right,
said.
right, doodles count, paintings count, but visual arts, music, anything, writing, that it's all under that umbrella, and that's why we're here to bring you this and to have this fun little casual space, and hopefully take our minds off other things that are going on in the universe for a few minutes on your weekend. So
Yeah, and today it's going to be a treat because Tessara's going to share some of their poetry.
awesome. So let's bring Tessara on,
All right.
and welcome, Tessara.
Hello.
Hey, it's good to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So you want to tell us a little bit
Messing
about
with the
yourself, your background, what
Substack.
inspires
Sorry.
you?
Hello. Um, thanks for inviting me to come talk about poetry. Hmm?
You want to give us a little bit about of your background and how you got started in this, or I mean, obviously anybody can sit down, but uh, tell us your cred. how'd you get interest? How'd you get
Well,
interested in this?
I started writing poetry. I actually don't know if they're still doing them, but there used to be this program right around Portland. and they would host free writing workshops in and around Portland. And I used to go to this queer youth center in Portland called Smirk. And so we had, for a few years, we had rap workshops there. And then at the end of a period of time, they would publish a book with, you know, a couple poems from anyone who submitted from each of the workshops. And so I have actually, I think, 5 of those. My very first publishing credits at the age of 14. Uh, and kind of just kept writing from there.
And so now you're still in the Portland area, I'm guessing.
Well, I'm down. I'm further south in Oregon, but
Oh, okay. What part?
I'm in Salem now.
Oh, right on. My
yeah.
I had relatives who lived in Salem. I've been there a few times. It's nice. So very cool. Well, let's see. What else do we want to talk about before we get going into this? Do you have any other
Can you tell us
background?
what your inspirations are?
Yeah.
Well, I did for a little while run sort of I guess a micro publishing company. It wasn't like a huge business, but I did have like ISBNs and sort of the setup behind the scenes to publish books. We put out like 3 of them, and then I got sort of caught up in grad school and stuff, and that sort of fell by the wayside.
Yeah, life gets in the way.
Yeah, and then you know
Either
the
school gets in the way of
pandemic
life, or life gets in the way of school, right?
Yeah. So, and then this year I just decided I'm working on something new, and so I decided that every Sunday I'll spend maybe an hour in the evening writing, just generating poems and prompts and things.
Oh, cool.
Just to sort of get back into it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great thing, because so what do you use? Are you just coming up with your own ideas, or what are you using to
I
prompt
actually have this
yourself?
book. Why is it? It's like Poet's Daily Companion or something like that. And it has a prompt for every day of the year. It is quite dated in some of the prompts, like Facebook slang, write a poem using Facebook slang.
Oh my.
That I'm fairly sure most people aren't actually still talking about some of the early day Facebook slang. But I just browse through like 7 days worth of prompts and pick them, or I allow them to spur an idea for a different prompt in my head, because you know I'm creative, I can do that, and then just sort of sit down and see where I go.
Cool. I find that's one of the trickier things. Having these prompts can really like get something to just spark in you. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a link, since you're not showing up on our live stream in the bar. So I'm going to put your address, your account in our chat. So go over there and subscribe to Tessara if you haven't, or follow if you haven't already. We appreciate that. What kind of stuff do you have for us today? Did you bring us some juicy poems?
Yeah. I have sort of picked out 3. So one from my first sort of self-published collection, and then I've got one that was published by a group in Portland on 9 Bridges Press, and then sort of something I'm working on right now, sort of thinking about poetry and how my own way of writing has changed over time. So I've got this first one is called Invisible War. The poor don't have the luxury of mental illness. Even when we are mentally ill, suppressing each sign of weakness to soldier on through numbing apathy and paralyzing depression, shameful inability crushing children and adults, we are patchworks plastering over the cracks in our wounded psyches for, please God, just another day. And another, because we do not have the luxury of mental illness. Even when we shake apart at the thought of applying for assistance we are told we should not need, Panic pressing at our edges, testing the joins and repair work over wounds we cannot heal. Unearthly hardiness and expectation bordering obsession. Please, God, if it please God. We bow under burdens we do not know can be shared, ashamed. Just another day splitting at the seams, shaking, pushing past abuses, passed over, pushed over, plowed over because we do not have the luxury. Loss tossing us against the confines of ourselves as we spin out and crash. Our clutch fails. We clench hands close around the tattered, frayed remains. Sickness, a sure sign of failure in the battle. Beating back encroaching darkness with desperate prayers because there are no atheists in foxholes, because the poor are working and the working are poor, because the foundations are splitting and spilling us into pits of fire that have previously only licked at our heels, because the plaster is only human after all, because we do not have.
You gave me goosebumps.
That's
So
good.
that was one that I wrote about 12 years ago.
Wow. It seems so relevant now too.
It seems so relevant now. I was like, oh no. It's so
Yeah,
well, you know.
it doesn't feel it aged pretty well, and that's not
Yeah.
the best thing, but
Unfortunately.
yeah, unfortunately it aged well. My goodness, that's great. Getting a lot of positive hearts in the chat. I'm just going over and checking. Like I appreciate all the people who are spreading some love. And again, I put Tassara's account in the chat. If you're not already following her, I'll put it in here again. You know, it was interesting. I was on your profile earlier this morning because I said, you know, I probably ought to get to know who I'm going to be, you know, talking with today. So, and I noticed that you had a really great post from a while back, beginning of the month, for Black History Month, and you had a whole list of recommended uh, reading books for Black History Month, and some are poetry, some are fiction, and some are nonfiction. And I was just curious. I mean, it's a big list too. It's you know, you probably take you more than a month to read through all of the books, but that's not a bad thing. I was curious if any of those on your list really stick out with you, and I'm going to put a link to this post in there in the chat as well if people want to take a look, because it is Black History Month and Black history is American history, a big old chunk of it, and so it's important to have these voices. So let me put that in the chat. So if anybody wants to take a look over on Tassara's page, that's the link. I just threw the link in the chat to the to her recommended reading list. So anything on that list, you know, give me the condensed version of, you know, if you had to pick a couple, what would be some of your favorites off that?
Well, I've been because I'm writing so much poetry, I'm also reading a lot of poetry. So I'm reading reading over some of these ones that I read before, and then some new stuff as well. I really love the breadth of um, experience and discussion in this collection of poems that or poets that I put up. And I really did try to mix in like contemporary stuff and then some more classics for all of them, less so actually the satire and comedy. Most of those are pretty contemporary.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, there's a pretty large sort of spread of what I was pulling from, just so everyone can find something that they really enjoy. I will say that I'm sitting with Time on Two Crosses, the collected writings of Bayard Rustin. He is an amazing figure in Black history that really not enough people know about. And it's slow going reading through that, just because every time I finish one of the little essays or letters, I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit with that for like a couple days and think about it. But he he was really an inspiring figure for me. Um, and I mean, as well, also Sister Outsider by Audre Lorde. Obviously, uh, I feel like Audre Lorde's mostly known for her poetry, but she did write like essays and her sort of autobiography memoir. Um, and she was an amazing writer, and she had a really interesting life that she talks about. And then, of course, later in life, she was doing a lot of organizing in like feminist circles as well. So I
I
definitely
know
recommend both of those.
that's great. No, I noticed one on the list that there's the one called A Cooking Gene, A Journey Through African American Culinary History in the Old South. And I'm like, I
Hmm.
need to check that out because I like to cook
Well,
and that sounds really good.
yeah, he sorry, Michael Twitty is a cook. He's a writer. He has the cooking gene, which is African American culture, and then he has a separate because he's also Black and Jewish. I'm also Black and Jewish, but
I'm
so
Jewish,
which
but
is how I discovered
I'm
it. Yeah,
pigment challenged, but I got the Jewish thing going, sister. It's all good.
yeah, yeah. And he has a separate book, sort of thinking about Jewish culinary history as well.
Oh, very cool.
So he's got a couple of books out. He's won awards for them. The Beard Award, I think.
That's fantastic.
And
I'm gonna have to check those out. I need to get some
he's a
reading for
great
my
writer.
trip coming up. So I'm gonna if they're I'm
And the
gonna
audiobooks are also really good.
oh cool.
So for the Michael Twitty, the audiobooks are really good. I can recommend those as well.
Oh, that's
So
good.
many books, so little time.
Yeah, I need to put some more things on my iPad so I can have stuff to read on my cruise next week. That's really good. Okay, so what other poetry do you have to share with us? People were commenting in the chat; they loved your voice, and this is great. So
That is feedback I get a lot when I read my poetry. People are like, you have such an amazing voice. Your voice is so soothing. I'm like, great, I love that, actually. This next piece was published in Overland and Rising by Nine Bridges Press. So that's a small press in Portland as well. It's called Tidal versus Wild. The essential, what lies under the world you see, known and unknowable. What slips your control? Howling, laughing, the thing yet untamed, arousal, rebirth, blessed, offered your best, lyrics and strivings, and fear, entropy, speaks its name into silence, a stillness of limbs that bloom into song the world breathes around you. Half magic, hideous sublime, burdened by awe, lungs fill, head floating, expansive, and you, a bounteous feast, runneth over. And I wrote that actually when I was in a course at Portland State about the history of writing and ecology and like activism in America, specifically tied to things like the Park Service or before the Park Service existed. So thinking about our relationship to nature.
mhm.
And I did write it to be deliberately a little unsettling. So if it's a little unsettling, that was on purpose.
One of the things I learned that's great. That's great. There was a comment once. I mean, and this is it's not unique. I can't remember where I first heard it, but it's the idea that if you love it or hate it in reference to art or whatever, at least it made you have an opinion,
Hmm.
and that's success either way. If someone
Hmm.
doesn't like it or someone does like it, it's when someone is completely ambivalent to it that the artist is like feels like it's a failure. Um,
I've been one of the things I've been talking about a lot with other people, particularly since the Super Bowl halftime show, for you know obvious reasons,
mhm.
is this idea that art is a co-creation between the artist and the observer of it. And so that's one of the things I find so beautiful about it, that you can put all sorts of things into art and people will take away from it what they will take away from it, that is often based in their own life experience and their own thoughts and feelings. And so any work of art that like evokes a reaction, a feeling, any kind of strong feeling in the observer is then a successful piece of art, whether I like it or not, right? Like, there's plenty of art where I look at it and I'm like, I'm not sure I understand, but I'm a little uncomfortable, and that is itself a successful work of art.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in New York, I went to this museum in Harlem, I want to say, at like a specifically like Black art museum, and they had three super amazing artists on display and then some smaller pieces. And there was this one who loved to work, I wish I could remember their name. They would make these like sculptures using trash bags and sand. And so there was like this one that was like a black trash bag with like hands reaching out, that was very uncomfortable, and I hated it a little bit, but I also really loved it. And that sort of idea that like art can be that uncomfortable thing, and evoking the emotions in you is the most important part about art for me.
Yeah, and if it makes you uncomfortable, then the next thing I would think would be, why is this making me feel uncomfortable? And take that next step to say, okay, wait a minute, maybe maybe I had preconceptions about, or preconceived notions about culture, identity, whatever, I'm kind of and coming up with that. Hey, Neuro, what do you have any questions regarding this, other than technical things with the chat aside? I know it's frustrating.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed that, Tasara. Oh no, I just turned that screensaver on.
Oh no, you're still there.
Okay.
We were just talking about how when art evokes an uncomfortable reaction, when something makes you feel unsettled, how do you handle that? Like, and I was talking about how it can make you become more introspective and ask yourself some questions about why you feel uncomfortable with certain images or words or whatever.
Unsettled for me is different than what, because I can get upset and like cry, right? Because it like breaks my heart. Which an artist I can think of a lot, not a poet really, but Lydia Yuknovich is a fiction and creative nonfiction writer, and her writing traumatizes me.
Ouch. Okay.
Yeah, it's brutal. Just to give you an idea, Chuck Palahniuk's like one of her best friends, Chuck Palahniuk and Chelsea Kane. They're horror story writers. She doesn't do like the fantastical horror stuff, or like Fight Club or whatever. She goes more into reality and is not afraid to show you.
So I will say that I actually can't hear you at all.
Really?
I can hear you. That's strange.
Like I can hear him and I can't hear you. And I don't know what's causing that.
This happens on Dana and Lawrence's show.
So if you were talking to me, I didn't hear any of that.
Well, I can hear. Okay, let me just. I'm gonna just pull you out.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, let me just pull you out and put you back in again.
All right. Can you hear me now? I might have to.
Nope.
No, I don't know what's going on. That's more fun with stream. This is a glowing endorsement for stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still can't hear.
Okay. Kick me out.
Well, hi, Tasara.
Hello.
Hey. There
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Boy.
Yeah, I don't know what the issue is. It could be an audio thing. I'm not. That's strange that it would go out midstream like that, but here we are.
Yeah, I
Um,
have with Dana a lot on the Daily Whatever show.
yeah, I know. I mean, but yeah, you know
Uh,
what? It's modern technology.
Give me just a
I
Right
second.
now.
I think the issue is just Tasara being able to hear you, Nero, because of the chat saying they hear you.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of having the right. It's possible. It's just a speaker, a headphone setting or something like that. Um, I will say,
Yeah, I can't get into the darn chat. It's irritating me.
well, I will tell you. I mean, I've been trying to watch some live streams and they'll freeze on me half the time. And
Hello?
and hey, can you hear us? What else we got?
Um, I'm just asking Tasara if she can see the chat.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
in the Substack chat or
StreamYard.
I
oh, yeah,
I
there
can
we
see
have a
the chat. I
private
have to
chat.
click to it.
Okay, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
I can hear both of you.
Okay. Uh, is he speaking right now? Are
I'm
you
not here.
speaking?
I'm gonna say hi.
Oh, see, now I can hear you, but I can't hear you.
Selective hearing. How
Graveyard.
strange.
Oh no.
All right, I tell you what. Um,
Here's
Hmm.
that
guys.
the right. The best thing we can
Huh.
do for the
That's very
moment is
strange.
what I'm gonna say
Um,
is why don't you exit
hmm.
entirely and then rejoin from the invitation link that Neuro sent you,
Preferences.
because it should be able to set your audio preferences. You should be able to go down and
Oh,
change your speakers too. But if you can hear
oh,
one
now I
of us
can't
and
hear
not
anyone.
both,
Um,
weird. Okay. Given our fun stuff,
Oh, never mind.
who are you?
I
Hey,
was gonna.
I brought my very high tech 24th century communication device. So
That
I'm
it's
prepared.
an original series. Isn't it?
That's original series vintage. Yeah, that's it. It's cool stuff. Um, so Neuro, what else are we planning on? We'll get to Sarah back here. Okay, she's coming back in. I'm gonna add her in.
Okay.
Hey,
hello again. Hi, I can hear
yay.
everybody. Oh, that's
Okay, good.
great.
Yay!
Okay. All right. All right.
All
I'm gonna
right. Yay.
I'm gonna have to send a message to Dana that says it's not just you. Yeah. So um
Graveyard.
yeah, it's a StreamYard glitch. I don't know what's going on. By any chance, are you on your phone?
Me? Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's what part of it is. I think it's a glitch with phone connections because that's a lot of times how I'm seeing other people who've had the same issue. But we're not here to tech support StreamYard. We're here to talk creativity. So I want to ask you, Tasara, like, okay, this whole everything right now, you turn on the TV, you turn on Substack, it turns into I think Stephen King is in Nero's house,
No,
flashing.
I I have a dusted dawn bulb, and I'm getting too much light. It's confused.
Oh no.
Turn it
What I was
off.
going to say is, you know, do you use your writing? Is that your outlet right now for staying kind of grounded and sane during this time? Is that what you're predominantly doing? So, like, do you ever just
Yeah.
write for the sake of writing, even if it's not intended to be published or go anywhere? You just do it.
Yeah, I've done my part of my writing process is really just I always have to start handwritten because my brain just won't generate directly onto for poetry at least um onto a screen. And then sort of I'll type it up, I'll play around with it and think about it. And some things that I've written are not ever gonna go anywhere. Um, I because I've been writing for 23 years now. I have notebooks full of stuff that is never going anywhere and has never really gone anywhere.
Never see the light of day, but that's okay, right?
Yeah, well, but the act of writing can be um, cathartic in itself,
Mm-hmm.
right? Sometimes just to write things. Um,
Give up.
and I did so when the first poem that I read um, kind of came about in this period. I wrote a lot of poetry during the protests, really between like 2014 and 2016, um, when Black Lives Matter was really happening. With there was a lot of news coverage of um, Black death, and that is like psychically damaging.
I was going to say trigger
um,
warning.
And there were all sorts of really terrible things. Facebook had this feature where at one point they had switched from uh, they started aggregating everyone's posts. If everyone was sharing sort of one thing around, they would put the thing up, and then below that you could like click on and expand the posts. And during that time period, there was a poster going around that some like far right person had made that was essentially a call to lynch President Obama. And all my friends very kindly put like trigger warnings and the dots to like move the space between the message and the images. And that was the day that my Facebook started aggregating things. And so I opened Facebook, and the first thing I saw was this poster, and then a bunch of my friends being like, "Warning, there's this terrible poster." And I
Oh,
was like,
geez.
"Oh no, it's gone wrong. It's gone terribly wrong." Um, but it comes at you all of the time. And I've been relatively detached from news in sort of the last year. I've stepped back deliberately, just because of how stressful
Mm-hmm.
all of the news has been. During that period with Black Lives Matter, I actually developed chronic pain disorder,
Oh no.
from how stressed out I was all the time. And so, like, I'm caught in this place where I have to like self protect, but then I feel really detached, and I feel guilty for not like paying attention to things, and not being as engaged in struggles. Um, and that's really hard to navigate. And sometimes what I just have to do is like, I do just sit down and write, where I'm like, this is everything I'm feeling right now, because I have to get it out. I have to get it out. It literally physically will harm me if I do not get it out. um, so writing is a part of that for me, just because um, I
Well, I mean,
I can
you're
like feel
100%
that stress
along the
happening.
same vibe as I think all of us can relate to this, right? I mean,
It was so funny. I was active at that time too, but I was active with Don't Shoot Portland.
Hmm.
They used the hashtag Black Lives Matter, but they were separate. Um, so we didn't really cross paths there, even though we knew each other.
Hmm.
it's just, I mean, I can go back to something I saw during, you know, the first go around of, the first time around. It was just, it's a constant battle between maintaining your sanity and staying informed.
Hmm.
Because I know people who literally just choose not to be informed, and it frustrates me. It frustrates me at all, because you can talk to them and they're just like, "What do you mean? Everything's fine. I'm going to work." You know, it must
That
nice.
must be a nice world to live in.
Must be nice, right? It must be nice, but that's not how it is for a lot of people. And I'm lucky enough not to have, you know, people being dragged out of their homes across the street or anything like that right now. But you know, it's freaking traumatizing what people are going through, and it's hard. So having these outlets, you know, I'm going to ask you the silly question though. It's like, so as a photographer, I will always get asked a question like, Oh, that's a great picture. You must have a nice camera. That's like me asking you, Tasara, well, what kind of pen do you recommend?
Yeah.
Do you like the ballpoint or the felt tip? It's
I mean, I do have a particular pen I like to use, but that's definitely not the focus.
like, no. But there's something innate. Neuro, tell me if you have the same thing. The connection to brain to hand, to either paper or even if it's typing or whatever, but just there's something about that connection. Writing it out makes it stick better.
I write by hand if I'm stuck.
Okay.
But if my thoughts are flowing really fast, I have to type
Okay.
because my hand cannot keep up. I can type really fast. I might get a lot of typos and I go back and edit it, but it's
Hey,
sort of like,
that's
you know,
that's what
right.
grammar checkers for, right? No, I noticed when I was in college that I took notes one way or another, and when I took notes by hand, try to keep up, I learned it. And I had a couple classes where the professor would hand out the notes. Here's the notes, right? And I never learned it by reading it.
Hmm.
It didn't stick. But if I would rewrite out my note, like if I took those and rewrote them down, there's something about this brain to hand connection for written word, whether it's a science class or your creative writing class, it's all interesting. Now you have at least one more poem for us, right, Jasara?
Yeah.
Why don't
Uh,
we what's that one?
uh, so this is from a couple weeks ago, actually. And so, as with any poem that I write, it is finished enough that I'm going to read it here, but it is forever in revision. That's one of the parts of my writing. Um, that I will change and tweak things, and I keep a record of that. So I will post the revision and the date, and then sort of the latest version. Um, but so this is one I wrote as part of my push to write something every Sunday this year, um, and it's called "The Color of Possibility." I'm just gonna have a sip of water. The color of possibility. The universe to an atom is a series of lost moments, too abstract, too fathomless. Listen to the whole of the ocean trapped in a shell, or witness the sky full of clouds arrayed between two ears. Your church is the wild, a cathedral of roses expressing the sentiment of love. Twin peaks against the horizon, pride and shame, or freedom and obsession, success born of fear. Memories of exquisite pains lost to the sands of time, till overwritten by a fiery grief. All sorrow turns to glass, where faint hopes a summer breeze and unfurling sails carry the whispers of a promise reborn.
I knew the
That's
glass.
nice.
Oh, I really like science imagery a lot. So I get.
I'm trying to ponder the atom, having existential thoughts.
I referenced Adam in one of my more recent poems. So sort of.
It's kind of hard to wrap your brain around things that are either immensely vast or infinitesimally small.
Yeah.
Like if you can't see it and you can't appreciate it, how do you it's just the mind is capable of imagining a lot of things, but when you talk about the vast scale of the universe to down to the subatomic, it's just like, oh, I can't deal with it. My hurts my head.
You should read Gravity sometime. Anyway,
Oh, yes.
no, we're talking about Tesara stuff. So what influenced that one?
That so interestingly, I took I read my 7 days worth of prompts out of that book that I have, and did not use any of those prompts, but I immediately from them got imagery that I jotted down, and that was actually the first thing that I wrote that day. Um, and I just have like above it, listening to the sound of the sea, heads full of clouds, expressing the sentiment of love. And all of those things are in that poem, although not all of them sound the same when I have wrote them into the poem. Um, but
That's how that goes.
that is how it goes. And
It- That's an interesting
it's very
observation.
abstract.
Yeah. No, it's interesting because musicians will, I don't want to say steal, but they will incorporate things
Mhm.
all the time, all the time. You'll be listening to this song and you're like, wow, that sounds a lot like that riff in that other song that I know, and it's not the same, but they were influenced by it.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's an act of it's a nod to the other band that they were their influence more than it's not plagiarism or anything like that. So
Mhm.
this is very cool. um so are there any places where people can find your where can people, other than I put the link to your profile and Substack, but where can people find your work if they wanted to get some of this in printed form?
Um, well, the book that I put out, Fallen Forever Rising, is available on Amazon. Um, it's, I will say, very much rooted in the time when it was written and when it came out, which was during that 2014 to 2016 period. So there's a lot of pain in that one, and um, I'm still like I'm still really proud of all of that work. Um, but I feel like I've really, I don't know, a lot of my more recent stuff doesn't sound very much like that. Um, Although some of it does. Other than that, have I haven't been publishing a ton recently. I just have things in various different like journals. I have a Facebook page, and I do tend to post more often than anywhere else to there about when I get things published. Um, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'm hoping to get, hey, if pro tip, I'm trying to get you some more subscribers here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know,
I'm
full
still figuring
disclosure.
Substack out.
I love
Um,
Facebook, so I was really excited when Tassara came to Substack.
uh,
I've pretty much given up on all of the meta stuff. It's not a great
yeah,
space for anyone who's not, well, you know what I mean. So,
there are a lot of really great groups specifically on Facebook
mhm.
for
Yes,
poets who are trying to get
yes,
published. So that's kind
yes.
of all I'm really using Facebook for anymore.
Groups are
Um,
still,
yeah,
that's valid 100%. That's
yeah.
valid.
Um,
What I really like
I
though is that,
Uh,
since Substack has the long form side,
mhm,
so you can do something that's formatted and italicized and whatever. And I see a lot of that. I see a lot of people who are just literally journaling on Substack, get
mhm.
the words out, and it's cool. And if people subscribe, it's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
I will waste an entire day reading Substack posts. So
I posted a very long link to Amazon, but if you go to Amazon and just look up Tassara Dudley, her book will come up. It's called Fallen Forever Rising, and it came out in 2015. It's in paperback. It's not expensive, and so people can check that out for some of your uh, poetry right there. So
Yeah.
cool.
Well, and part of the reason I'm writing this year is I am working on another collection, and currently trying to decide if I want to self-publish again or if I want to try the more traditional publishing route, which is a slog and
Mhm.
sometimes feels not worth it. But I'm because I'm writing again, I'm probably also going to start posting again, and I am planning April. I have a Facebook group, National Poetry Writing Month, where I sometimes put up like prompts or like writing exercises, and I am planning this year to make April um, intentionally sort of make connections, encourage other people to write poetry, stuff like that. So in about a month and a half, definitely will be something probably also on Substack.
Well, we want to see your stuff on Substack.
If I hosted a poetry slam in April, would you attend?
I would.
Okay.
Do
I
you
love
have-
poetry.
Do I have to wear a beret? And get
Huh?
Do I have to wear a
No.
beret and go beatnik style?
No, I
Okay.
might wear a beret, but that's just because I like hats.
There you go. There you go. That's fantastic. Well, this has been very informative. I'm super glad that you were able to join us today. Seeing a lot of love for you in the chat over on Substack, and yes, the heart. Sometimes it'll make the. I'm not good at making the heart thing.
Me
It
either, apparently.
mine doesn't
There
do
we
it. I can.
You have to activate it on your
True.
time settings.
Right. I can make the hearts come out though. Right. There we go. Yay. So I'm throwing hearts down for Tassara as well. This has been wonderful. I want to thank you again for taking some time out of your weekend to join us here on the Misfits Muse. And I really looking forward to reading more of your work. And I really am glad that you have that reading list, because I'm going to check that out for sure. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Any last thoughts, Neuro?
No, I'm just really appreciating Sarah's came on. I think despite the technical difficulties, is a great way to open our series.
Well, don't feel bad about the technical things. Even the power players sometimes have issues on it. So thanks again for joining us, everyone, today. And we will see you next time here on the Misfits Muse.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. Okay. Can everybody hear anybody?